Are we seeing a change in the global balance of power in world football? Have South American teams lost ground on their European counterparts? Who will be the big contenders for the trophy at World Football Showpiece event next year? WION Sports correspondent Rahul Dalal posed these very questions to a true legend of the sport, 1990 World Cup winning captain and Ballon d'Or winner Lothar Matthaus.
It's not every day that you get to speak to a World Cup winning captain, let alone a true great of the sport. I have German legend Lothar Matthaus here with me. Thank you so much for speaking to WION, first of all. We've just gotten done with round one of the World Cup qualifiers, and it's been pretty plain sailing as far as the European heavyweights are concerned. You must be especially pleased with Germany's form through qualifying.
I'm satisfied generally with the German football. The German football is really one of the best in the world. We won the last World Cup. We are one of the favorites for the next World Cup. We was running in the qualification from the first game day to the last to don't give up 1 point. This was a great job from the team, from the coach, and not only the first team played very well and make a great result. The same we was going to the Confederation Cup, not with our first team, and won the Confederation Cup. In the European Championship, the under-21 won the European Championship, and we won a lot of titles with the teams in the last years. But we cannot live from the past. We are looking forward, and we like to win next year the World Cup in Russia. And I think the team is ready, but we respect the same than other teams because they have the same great players, and we will see who get the trophy on the end.
A lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of heavyweights sailing through qualifying. There are some great teams out there. Spain did well, Belgium did well, France are developing a great squad as well. Which team, apart from Germany, really impressed you in this qualifying campaign?
Brazil in South America.
Yes.
Yes, there was not always so dominant like in the qualification. Especially on the beginning, they had the same their problems, but they make on the end make a great job and was going 3 games before end the qualification to be safe to go to Russia. France played a great qualification. They make a tie against Luxembourg. It's a small, one of the smallest countries in Europe, but this was only a small accident because they beat Holland, Sweden, and who was one more team? Bulgaria was in this group. They make a great qualification. They have high-level players, not only experienced players. They have especially the young, talented player. Many young players from France play in the big clubs in Europe. Spain always on the paper with the players from Real Madrid, from Barcelona, and I think not because England won the under-17 World Cup here in India. England is on a good way. Maybe the World Cup in Russia is coming too early for this young generation player. I don't speak about the under-17. Yeah. They have another good players. They won the same the under-20 World Cup. They have really high-quality young players, and you see when the first team is playing well and the young players are more motivated to make the step to play maybe in Champions League for Man City, for Man United, for Chelsea. And I think with the English football we have to calculate in the early future.
So you see them, tipping them for success in the near future.
They didn't won nothing in the last 50 years. They won the last time World Cup '66 in their country, and in the tournaments they qualified always easy. Yeah. But then they was going mostly out after the second round. In the last European Championship, they was going out against Iceland, I think so. But it's impossible. But in England they need stability. They didn't have it. And they have the quality of the players. They have a lot of quality players. They play in great clubs. They get the experience. But maybe, how I thought, this World Cup is coming a little bit too early for the English team.
Playoffs
to win the title.
To win the title. Playoffs coming up as well. Some good sides in that as well. You have Switzerland, Serbia. Croatia, as well as, of course, Italy. In there, do you see any surprise results in the playoffs?
Playoff is like a lottery. Yeah. Sure, the quality can make the difference on the end, but you have pressure. Italy and Croatia has more pressure than maybe Denmark. But Denmark can play football. And for this, sure, we have our favorites, how you told. The Swiss is a favorite against North Ireland. Italy is a favorite against Sweden. And Croatia is maybe the favorite against, doesn't matter, somebody else. I don't have all the teams on the schedule. And sure, I will see Italy in the World Cup. But they have to give their best to make the results against Sweden, because Sweden eliminate Holland.
Yeah.
And the football is so strange. Small things can make the difference, but sure, we like to see the traditional countries in the World Cup with the best players. World Cup without Buffon. World Cup without Messi. Yeah. Who was very close maybe to go out. Messi changed the result in Ecuador with his 3 goals. What? We like to see the best player. We like to see the big names. And for this, I cross my finger for Italy, because Buffon has the rights to play this World Cup, and we will miss him when he's not there.
Absolutely. You spoke about England, sort of, the young English players and the form that they've shown of late. Do you see a sort of balance of power in the Champions League as well this season? Because English teams, weren't sort of as competitive over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Yes. But we see right now, they're top of all the qualifying groups. Tottenham had that great result against Real Madrid. Man City beat Napoli as well. Are they real contenders this year for the Champions League, you think?
The easiest is always when you have the results, you can talk about this, like now. But I told this before start the Champions League. I thought this year, when a team like to win the Champions League, he has to beat first the English clubs. And this is the hurdles. The English club are this year the hurdles to win the Champions League. And sure, they don't get it for free. But we have Real Madrid, we have Barcelona, we have Bayern Munich, especially we have Paris Saint-Germain. But the 5 clubs from England, for me, I told this a couple of weeks ago, they are sure qualified for the next round. And then you have 5 English clubs under the last 16. Big competition, great games. And I'm happy for England, because they invest a lot of money. They have now good players. They have the same very good coaches like Guardiola, like Mourinho, like Klopp, like Conte. What do you want more? They have everything, but what they don't have till today, not results. And they will give their best to one of these teams will win the Champions League, but in another way, they have the concurrence from another countries with these teams, what I told you before. 10 favorites this year in the Champions League, and this makes the Champions League in this year very interesting.
One final question, and this one is about your former club, Bayern Munich. Not the greatest of starts for them. They, of course, had the managerial change with Carlo Ancelotti out and Jupp Heynckes coming back in. What have you sort of made since that managerial appointment, Bayern Munich? Are they slowly getting back on track? Because that defeat to Paris Saint-Germain must have really hurt.
First, I think the decision to sign with Ancelotti was not the best decision. And I feel in the last months or after his first season, Ancelotti was not motivated anymore. He lost the player. He didn't train very strong. The team is was not in the best condition. And for this, I think for Ancelotti, I had this feeling he's not happy in Bayern Munich. He was not smiling. He was not positive. He was always like, I have to do it because I signed the contract. And I think this was good for him and for Bayern Munich. And with Jupp Heynckes was coming a coach back who won the triple 4 years ago, the Champions League, Championship and the Cup. He has experience with Real Madrid in Spain. He was by Bilbao in Tenerife, and he liked football. And he is coming back for 8 months. Yeah. This is now his contract. And you saw immediately the atmosphere by Bayern Munich was changing. And not only the atmosphere, with the atmosphere, changed the result. Bayern Munich was 5 points behind Borussia Dortmund 4 weeks ago, and now they're 3 points ahead. They are on a good way, but sure, they don't have in this moment the quality like Man City or Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts, and it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Okay, thank you very much.